Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Self-Made Hype, and this is my first video. I'm just gonna be talking about kind of how I got started in reselling, and what reselling has done for me, and just like the passion that I have for this. First off, I'm gonna be going on about like how to start reselling, and for me, the first thing that I did was kind of just like have a passion towards it. I just started like watching YouTube videos, Blazendary / John Kyle Perch, and Crew TV, and all those different like YouTube channels, and those really kind of like fueled my passion. Before that, I didn't really care at all about shoes or hype clothes and stuff like that, but those kind of just gave me that passion and that drive to start reselling. And for me, the next thing that I did was kind of like chose a product to start selling. You need to choose, or at least for me, I chose one a thing. You could choose like Adidas shoes. It doesn't have to be specific to like Yeezys, but I would choose kind of like one brand to start reselling. And for me, I chose Supreme because Supreme was kind of the easiest to do manually at that time. Now it's got pretty rough with all the bots and stuff, but they're really trying. And the hype has kind of died out around Supreme with all the resellers. You know, I am a reseller, so I can't really hate on that, but their hype has kind of died down. So you could start with, you know, Supreme, Nike, Adidas, just different brands. I would just choose one to start with. You could expand upon that later down the line once you start to get a hang of one thing. And then the second thing I want to talk about is the mindset that you need. You need to like care about shoes. One of my good friends saw the money that was coming in from my reselling passion, and then he decided, oh yeah, I want to try that, and I was supportive of him, and I tried to help him, you know, get into this. But he ended up buying like 4 pairs of Lundmarks, the Yeezy Lundmarks, which bricked pretty hard, and the sizes that he had weren't great, and he just didn't know and have that passion and do the research to start like getting the hang of like what's gonna sell and what's just gonna break. And obviously you don't want to have, you know, those like 4 Lundmarks just sitting. You're gonna take a loss after fees, and especially after like the tax and shipping from Adidas to your house. So I think you really just need an interest in this, and you can gain that interest. Like I said at the beginning, I gained that interest from watching YouTube videos, and you know, you guys can do that too. You also really need perseverance. You need to keep trying, because the first couple drops, even the 100th drop that you'll do, you may not get something, and you just kind of have that in your mind. You're not going to get every box logo. Even if you have a good bot and you're part of a good cook group, you're not going to get every box logo. Next we're going to go into what different things you're going to need. And for me, I just started off with Google Chrome autofill. That's really easy to do. You can just look it up. I might post a video later, but there's hundreds of videos out there on how to start with the Google Chrome autofill. You can do that on your phone or your computer. And you also just need a credit or debit card, pretty obviously. Some websites take PayPal, but I just set up a debit card with my bank. You're also just going to need time. It takes time. People think, yeah, a drop takes 30 seconds, but you have to do the research on how, like, what's going to sell in that drop and how to get stuff off that drop. For like Supreme, I'm just going to keep using Supreme as an example. You have to go to Supreme community, you know, every morning and check the EU sellout times, and you're going to want to strategize what to go for, and you really need to choose 1 or 2 things that you're going to go for depending on how hype they are, because you can't just be going and be like, yeah, I'll try and get that shirt. It doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the size. You really have to like go for that one shirt, that one color, that one size. At least that's what helps me, is to have that one thing in mind. You're also gonna need seed money. I started off with about $250 in seed money, and I just saved that up from birthdays and Christmas and working, you know, around the house and like yard work and all those different things. You don't need like $1,000 in seed money. You don't need anything insane. You can just start off with a little bit of seed money. A lot of people ask, like, do you need a bot? Do you really need a bot? And with some products you definitely do, or at least it makes it a lot easier, but you don't always need a bot. And one thing that I definitely wouldn't recommend is going in for cheap bots. Not trying to throw anyone under the bus or anything, but I tried, after taking, you know, like a long period of L's on Supreme, I tried to download Force Cop, which is a fairly cheap bot. I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but compared to like Cyber, AO, and all those different bots, it's a very cheap bot. But you definitely pay for the quality of the bot, the updates, and just how much it'll work. So if you're gonna go for bots, I would kind of recommend going pretty far in, or you could just try manual. That's what I do. And I've got some really good stuff manually. And then what's the best thing to sell? People ask me that a bunch too. So I started off with Supreme, as I've said like 6 times during this whole thing, and that's what I've made the most profit off of. I also sell, Nike and Adidas. I would definitely stray away from Bape. They never, or at least in my opinion, they don't really have much that people are interested in. You can just look at the numbers on StockX. I feel like they just don't quite have that resell appeal. Yeah, ASSC doesn't really have any resell. Palace, they're starting to get up there, and there's definitely some items that they drop that do resell, but not all of it, and I would definitely do my research on those. Supreme, like I said, they're kind of dying. A lot of the like t-shirts and stuff, like the first drop is next week, and I'm going to be getting a couple things for personal, but there's not much that's going to be reselling in that drop. They still definitely have box logos and TNF drops, but like Nike, they're doing pretty well, especially with the Travis Scott. The Sacai collabs are really good. Off-White always does well, or at least the Off-White Nike like lifestyle shoes, not the Terra Kaigas and stuff like that. But Adidas has kind of died out, especially with their Yeezy line. Their resale numbers are just not as high as they used to be, but there's definitely still some money to be had there. My next point is online or like in store. Definitely for Supreme, if you have the opportunity, I'd definitely try and go in store. I went in store once and I made probably half my profit that season off that one in-store drop. You just have to live close to one of the stores. Online, take a little bathroom break during school, just hop on your phone real quick during work, just try and cop during that amount of time. It's pretty hard sometimes, but online, if you have to, I'd do that. What to sell through? There's so many different options now, like StockX, Grailed, Goat. You could sell in person. There's eBay now with their 0% fees. All these different apps and companies are seeing the money in sneakers and like hype different clothing and stuff like that, and they're starting to try and promote their stuff. I've sold a majority of my merchandise or like reselling stuff through StockX. I've sold 32 items through StockX right now, which isn't like insane, but I've made some pretty good money off of StockX. Grailed is where I usually sell my secondhand stuff, and Goat, I've sold some. eBay probably isn't the best for beginners, but if you have an established shop with reviews and stuff, then eBay is probably one of the better places right now with the 0% fees. And then my last point is, how much do you make? So it really depends. A lot of this is luck. A lot of this is, just effort. You really have to put in your time, and people don't see that, and that's when they get into trouble with losing money. And you also have to kind of judge whether you should hold something for a week or two, or whether you want to hold it for 6 months. If you know it'll go up, but you just can't keep that investment, you really have to kind of do a lot of judgment in this game. For the numbers that I've made, I'm not going to say them exactly or like on what site and stuff, but I've been doing this for about 2 years, a little bit more. Seriously, about 1 year. Before that, I didn't really get anything. I just kind of saw it as like a little, ooh, I'm gonna try on Thursday morning. But I've made probably about $2,500 as a little side hustle. And in high school, that's really nice. When you have to buy your car, you can get fairly far with that. Gas money is just really helpful, and you don't put in the time you would in like a normal minimum wage job in high school, but you also do have to do a lot of research. But to me, since I have this passion towards sneakers and towards the community, it's fun to me. I enjoy watching the trends and just going on the StockX and seeing what's selling and what's not, just because that's what I like to do. So it really depends on how much you put in it's a lot of luck and a lot of skill. So I mean, I know people who have been reselling for about a year and they've made double or triple mine, and then I know people who've been reselling for like 2 or 3 years and they haven't even made what I've made. So it all depends on, you know, where you live. Like, I live in a very small town, so I don't quite have the opportunities to go. You know, there's no drops in my city. Foot Lockers get nothing. You know, there's no good opportunities for me, so everything's online. It kind of depends on where you are and how much you want to put into this. If you guys have made it all the way to the end, just thank you for supporting my channel. I mean, this is my first video that I've ever made. Hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit, because I know when I first started there were a lot of things that were hard for me to kind of get around, because I didn't understand, you know, the community. I didn't understand how to get started doing this, and I would definitely follow a lot of other YouTubers like Keith Adams. He helped me a lot, and that's pretty much only for sneakers, but it's really nice just having someone to look not up to, but to help you out in this kind of reselling market. Alright, well, see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.